Sondagmôre. Ons is op pad van ons hotel af na die Olijfberg toe. Hierdie muur wat ons hier sien is die ou muur wat om Jerusalem gebou was. En as 'n mens nou 'n bietjie links van die goue koepel kyk, dan sien 'n mens deur in die verte so lyk soos 'n koepel met so half wat so gryserig is. Dis die Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Dit beteken dis een van die twee Golgotas in Jerusalem. Maar ek vermoed dis die regte Golgota waar Jesus gesterf het. Ons kan hom nie regtig herdenk dan, daarom gaan ons by die tuingraf wat 'n bietjie meer as jy regs kyk. Daar sien jy so 'n klompie bome daar uitsteek. Dit is waar ons dan vanmiddag of liewer as ons teruggaan van Jerusalem af toe ons nagmaal gaan geniet. Wat Gordon's Golgotha is met ander woorde.
Along that green slope, that's the city of David. Encircled it, going down, and then went up the mountain. You can see how the houses go up. Went up the mountain, right on the horizon you see a tall tower, the church with that pointed grey roof. That is the room of the upper city. That is Mount Zion.
As jy weet wat se plek is dit?
Al-Aqsa Moskee. Vroeger jare was die plek gewees waar Salomo gestalle was. Hy daar gestaan op sy eie, daai was nog nie daar gewees nie. Hierdie mure wat jy nou hier sien is gebou lank na Salomo verby is en selfs Jerusalem. Dis toe Solomon the Magnificent Jerusalem ingeneem het, hy die mure opgebou. En nou gaan jy ou sien aan die ander kant van die muur, gaan jy sien die onderste deel is gebou deur Salomo. Dan kom Herodes te maak het groter stop het. Hoe gaan Solomon die Magnificent opneem?
Maar hy antwoord: "Ek sê vir julle, as hulle stil bly, sal die klippe uitroep." Toe hy nog nader kom en die stad voor hom sien, het hy daaroor gehuil en gesê: "As jy vandag tog wou insien wat vir jou vrede nodig is, maar nou is jy blind daarvoor. Daar sal dae oor jou kom dat jou vyande vestings teen jou oprig en jou omsingel en jou van alle kante beleer. Hulle sal jou met die grond gelyk maak en jou inwoners uitwis. Hulle sal in jou nie een klip op die ander laat bly nie, omdat jy die betekenis van die tyd God gekom het om jou te red, nie besef nie." En so waar hoe jy dit profesie daaroor waar geword het.
Hierdie staan bekend as die Trane Tempel en dit is hier waar Jesus oor Jerusalem uitgekyk het en gehuil het oor die sonde van die mense. Ons is hier in die tuin van Getsemane waar Jesus gevra het dat die lydensbeker by hom verby kan gaan, maar dat dit vir hom geweier is.
On the other side, the church is called the Church of All Nations. It's all one complex, Church of All Nations, because Catholic people from all over the world donated money for the building. Again, I want you to take a picture. The walls of Jerusalem over there, you're not allowed to grow trees because you bring flies and fertilizers. So this was the closest place. And inside the church, under the altar, is a rock where we identify where Jesus liked to spend his time. He spent his last night over here, telling Peter, James, and John to watch over him. And as he prays, and each time he comes, the eyes are closed. They have just had the Passover dinner. And while you have the Passover dinner, you are commanded to have 4 cups of wine. When Moses sees God for the second time, God says, "I will bring you, I will deliver you, I will redeem you, I will take you." The 4 ways of redemption from slavery into freedom. And each time we read this in the Haggadah book we read on Passover, you have a glass of wine. You have to have at least 4 glasses of wine. You can have it when you perhaps they had more, and that's why their eyes were heavy. They could not keep them awake. It is over here, I said that we see the most human part of Jesus. I really don't want to do this, but if you say I must, do what you say. We also see his divine aspect, because under the pressure of events, Jesus sweats. We sweat water and salt, and he sweats. The word Gethsemane, if you take the Hebrew for it, it is gat shmani olive press. Just as the olives are pressed by weights and the oil comes from the sweating part, so Jesus is pressed by the events which he knows he is just about to.
Hoe is dit fisies moontlik dat sweet kan bloeddruppels word? Nou, ons het 'n dokter wat dit nou mooier sal kan verduidelik, maar ingrypend dat 'n mens 'n toestand kry wat hulle noem hematidrose. Miskien spreek ek dit nou 'n bietjie verkeerd uit. Maar dit hulle sê dat 'n mens, wanneer 'n mens soveel angs fisies beleef, dan skei jy 'n chemikalie af wat jou sweetkliere laat fisies bloei. En dit is wat veroorsaak dat die sweet letterlik bloeddruppels geword het. So dis nie net 'n beeldspraak of iets nie, maar so ons kan onsself indink, ons dink Jesus was God en mens, so dit was dalk nie vir hom so skrikkelik dit wat hy moes deurgaan nie, maar dink net wat sy geweldige angs moes Jesus in hierdie tuin beleef, dat sy sweet letterlik regtig erg in bloed verander.
Bloed sweet so bang is hy bid Abba Vader, laat hierdie beker by my verbygaan, nogtans nie soos ek wil nie, maar soos U wil. Dan is die aangrypende vir my dat Jesus hierdie gebed paar keer gaan bid. Soos ek jou partykeer bid. Ons vra vir die Here oor en oor dieselfde ding in afwagting op die antwoord wat die Here vir ons gee. Maar ek dink as ons nou so 10 minute elkeen gaan stil word, wil ek vra dat vir die Here absoluut dankie sê dat hy vir Jesus daardie nag sy eie kind nee gesê het. Dit was 'n harde nee gewees. Hy het vir Jesus gesê, nee, ek kan nie hierdie lydingsbeker by jou verbyvat nie, jy moet gekruisig word. Dis die plan. En ek dink so baie kere stoei ons met die Here as hy vir ons nee sê, maar hy het selfs vir Jesus sy eie kind nee gesê, omdat hy vir my en jou kon ja sê. En ek dink dis ons oomblik as ons nou so stil word voor die Here, ons maar net vir hom kan sê, dankie Here, dankie dat U op 'n keer nee gesê het, sodat U vir ons kon ja sê. En ek dink dit is so aangrypend om net te besef dat die Here vir my en jou so lief het, dat hy vir sy eie kind nee gesê het, sodat ons vandag die vreugde van oorwinning kan vier, juis op 'n Palmsondag, waar Jesus ook as koning gehuldig is, en 'n paar dae later gekruisig is vir jou en vir my. Mag ons in ons stil gebed vandag vir die Here net sê, dankie Here, dankie dat U in beheer was, en dat Jesus kon opstaan na daardie gebed, en hy het berus en hy het aanvaar, dis die pad wat ek moet stap, ek gehoorsaam God se wil, dit nie minder dorings en spykers in sy hande en sy kop beteken nie, maar is liefde wat hom verder gevat het. Kom ons gaan sê dankie vir daardie liefde vir so 10 minute, wat die Here vir ons gegee het.
Hierdie paar bome wat hier staan, nog steeds in die tuin van Gethsemane, hy is net oorkant 'n straatjie, moet baie oud wees. Ons staan hier aan die voorkant van hierdie kerk in Gethsemane, en dit is soos hy lyk. Volgens oorlewering is dit die klip waarop Jesus gebid het, en die tempel is hier rondom dit gebou.
As repaired by Suleiman the Magnificent, the Turkish Ottoman Empire 500 years ago. Now based on the Crusader and the Roman city, Aelia Capitolina, that Hadrian builds in the year 132. In the time of the Second Temple, in the time of Jesus, we would be standing within the walls of Jerusalem. Can you see that picture of the road? There is a picture of Christian Byzantine times, but it would have looked very similar at the time of the Second Temple, the time of Jesus.
Hier lewer die koning sy uitsprake die koning uit die geslag van Dawid. Bid dat Jerusalem vrede mag hê, dat hulle wat hom liefhet rustig mag woon. Mag daar vrede wees binne jou mure, rus in jou wonings. Terwille van my broers en my vriende, wens ek jou vrede toe. Terwille van die huis van die Here ons God, bid ek dat dit met jou goed sal gaan.
'n Voorstelling van die tipe van huiskraan wat hulle gebruik het om die klippe op te hys en in posisie te kry. Dit wat ons nou hier sien is maar min van die oorspronklike geboue. Die goed is alles na die tyd. Is dit weer opgebou en heropgebou en weer heropgebou en so aan. Hieronder is alles oorblyfsels van die tempel. Hierdie trappies waar ons hier op sit, is die oorspronklike trappies waarop Jesus ook geloop het. Die tweede tempel wat gebou is en hier vandaan af boontoe is alles na die tyd gebou.
Maar weer vind om die werk te doen wat Jesus vir hulle gesê het, en ons lees in Handelinge 3. Een middag om 3 uur, die tyd van die gebed, was Petrus en Johannes op pad tempel toe. Net toe word daar 'n man aangedra wat van sy geboorte af lam was. Sy mense het hom elke dag by die tempelpoort, wat Mooi Poort genoem is, neergesit om by die tempelgangers te bedel. Toe hy vir Petrus en Johannes sien net voor hulle in die tempel ingaan, het hy van hulle iets gevra. Petrus en Johannes kyk hom toe stip aan en Petrus sê, kyk na ons. Toe kyk die man na hulle in die hoop dat hy iets van hulle gaan kry. Maar Petrus sê, geld het ek nie, maar wat ek het, gee ek vir jou. In die naam van Jesus Christus van Nasaret, staan op en loop. Hy vat toe die man se regterhand en help hom op en onmiddellik het sy voete en enkels sterk geword. Hy het opgespring en regop gestaan en hy kon loop. Daarna het hy saam met hulle in die tempel ingegaan, terwyl hulle geloop en gespring en God geprys het. Al die mense het gesien dat hy loop en God prys. Maar toe hulle besef dat dit hy is wat voor die tempel by die Mooi Poort gesit en bedel het, was hulle baie verbaas en verwonder oor wat daar met hom gebeur het.
And each layer being a row of stone being slightly inside the other keeps the pressure inside, keeps it all so strong that you are looking at something that was done over 2,000 years ago and withstood the attempts of Titus to destroy. This road went the whole length of the western side of the temple platform. We found this stone over here. Can you see the stone? It says to the place of blowing. So from that corner over there would be somebody who would blow not a shofar but a trumpet on Friday as the Sabbath was coming, telling the people in the fields outside to put down their stools, to come inside. Another blast of the trumpet to tell the people over here to close up their shops and go home and prepare for Sabbath.
Dit is een van die reinigingsbaddens waar hulle moes hulle self reinig voor hulle in die tempel kon ingaan. Hier lê 'n klomp oorblyfsels van die versierings wat gebruik is vir die tempel nadat dit vernietig is.
Sê van Titus, hy was 'n varkie.
There is the first council of apostles, the leaders of the church. And it is Peter. What makes you unclean is not what you put in, but what you take out. He is able to base this divinely on what Peter had done at Caesarea beforehand.
Daardie dubbel venstertjies daarbo is die kamer waar Jesus die laaste avondmaal gehou het met sy disippels. Ons is nou op pad daarheen.
Modern statue of the tree of life. Signs of the deeds turned into a life. And we show the arches here comes the day. We show signs of the spiritual. Take us inside.
Hierdie is die onderkant van die
Please, you can move a little bit. Please, move a little bit. Come on, move.
laaste avondmaal gedoen is. Dit is nie te sê dat hierdie oorspronklik is nie, hierdie is maar net 'n versterking wat aangebring is. Hier aan die onderkant van die kamer waar die laaste avondmaal gehou is ook die graf van Dawid.
Christianity becomes the official religion of the Holy Roman Empire. In the year 333, Constantine's mother, Helena, comes and identifies 3 places. The place on Mount of Olives where Jesus ascends to heaven, the place where Jesus is born in Bethlehem, and over here where Jesus is crucified and buried. And the irony of it is that Hadrian, wanting to rub out the memory, preserves it by building a pagan temple over here. It's capital. The church that you see today is in essence the Crusader church built in 1099.
Hier is die tempel waar die kruisiging plaasgevind het. Die tempel is bo oor die Golgotha gebou.
Hierdie gee my asma. Because for Christians, Jesus, he is the ram, he is the ultimate sacrifice. Especially from Eastern Europe, what they do is they throw on rose water, that's the smell, and they take articles, crosses or something like that, sometimes hankies, put it over here, and then they will have it when they are buried, it will be placed with them.
Hier is volgens oorlewering die plek waar die graf van Josef van Arimathea was, waar Jesus neergelê is.
Good. May I have your attention please for 1 minute? What we got to serve you here comes in a pita bread. You know our round pita bread? You can have it with falafel. You can have it with the chicken shawarma. You see the chicken meat over here? We shave it, we put it inside the pita bread with salads. And with 1 drink costs 35 shekels or $10. Now the other choice is falafel, which is vegetarian sandwich. It's made of I'm sorry. It's made of green chickpea fried in a deep oil and comes in a pita bread with salads. With the drink costs 25 shekels or $7. Now, for more or less, how many of you would like to have the chicken shawarma, please? Raise hands up. In one time, let's do it.
More chicken shawarma.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your meal. There is 3 is coming. 1 minute.
Thank
and
you.
more falafel also coming on the house. 1 minute.
Dit is Palmsondag. Ons gaan almal op hierdie optog loop. Ons beweeg nou deur die Sionshek waar Stefanus gestenig is as die eerste Christen martelaar.
Tot sy eer, laat die song versange, stem van sterk verlange, om die Heer te dank. Bly die smeltend skone, harp en sitertone, lief en lof verklank.
Wat gesang is dit? Ek ken hom nie hoor. Halleluja, 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 halleluja.
Ons het van onder af gestap en ons het hier by die Damaskuspoort uitgekom.
Ons is hier op 'n aandbesoek aan die Klaagmuur. Regs is 'n skeiding, die vrouens is aan die ander kant en die mans is hier aan die linkerkant.
Hello, shalom. My name is Moran, and I'm going to be your tour guide for today. I just want to know before we're going to start, did you go to the wall? Did you see the wall?
Yes.
Or you saw it? Okay, so I just want to say that the wall that you can see here from the outside, it's only a small part of the Western Wall. Okay, this is not the whole Western Wall. Now the question is, how can it be if we're standing outside, we can see only a small part? Where's the whole Western Wall? So in order to understand, we have to use this model, and we have to go back to the history. So first of all, what do we see here in this model? We can see here Mount Moriah, okay? That this mountain is right behind us. And for the first time that we hear about this mountain is that according to the Jewish tradition, God created the world from here. Okay, here there's a stone that we call it the foundation stone. And as I said, the creation of the world was from here. Okay, let's continue. King David, he came here, and he bought this part of land, and he wanted to build the first temple here on this mountain. Now God told him, you know what, you were involved with too many wars, so you're not going to build it, but your son, King Solomon. So King Solomon came here, and he built right here on Mount Moriah, he built the first temple. But the first temple got destroyed, okay, by the Babylonians. That they came here and they destroyed Jerusalem and all this area. Now the Jewish community, they used to live here in Jerusalem, they were exiled to Babylon. They came after a while and they rebuilt their temple. So they built a second one. And you know, they're saying that the second temple was smaller than the first one. And the old people that they used to see, they saw the first one and the second one, they cried because it was really small, and you know, they used to the big temple, the first temple. Now let's continue. Maybe you heard about King Herod. He ruled here in Jerusalem, and he wanted to enlarge and glorify Jerusalem. So here we can see in the model, we can see that he wanted to flatten this area. So I can remove this hill from here, and he built a platform that we can see here. Now this platform has 4 retaining walls that we can see here. A northern one, okay? An eastern wall, a southern wall, and a western wall. So now we can understand what's the western wall, right? The western wall was an external wall, was as I said, a retaining wall. And here in the middle, King Herod built again the temple, okay? But unfortunately, the second temple, or the third temple, we call it today the second temple, even though it's the third one. The second temple got destroyed again by the Romans in the year 70. Okay, so unfortunately I can remove this from here also. And now I'll put this, and maybe you'll recognize this. This is the Dome of the Rock. The Dome of the Rock that we can still see today, and the Muslims came here and they built it in around the 7th century. Okay, so we have it on the mountain with an elastic mosque. We can't see here with us in the model, but it's still with us, right? Okay. Now, we're going to continue with the years. The Mamelukes came here, and they were a type of Muslims. They used to live here in this valley. Now they wanted to be closer to their holy, to the Dome of the Rock, to the platform. They wanted to be in the same level. Now, so what did they do? They built arches all around this valley. Now you'll have to imagine, because we can't see it here in the model, but try to imagine many arches here. And then on top of those arches, they built their houses. So it looks like this today. Okay, if I have many arches there, it looks like this. Okay, and we can see that those houses, they block or they cover the Western Wall. But today we don't have the Mamelukes, they're gone, but we have the Muslims. So this is the Muslims' quarter, okay, that's here today. So we can see that this is the part that is exposed outside, and the whole Western Wall, almost all of it, is covered by those houses. So what are we going to do in our tour? We're going to go underneath those houses, and we're going to see those arches that I was telling you about. And if we're here now, we're going to go underneath those houses along the Western Wall, and we're going to come back here in the same way. Okay, so that's the beauty of this place. So you can see many interesting things that you can see from the inside, from underneath the ground. So when we're going to be like under the ground, remember that there are people who are sleeping, eating, doing whatever when we're under their houses. So it's pretty amazing, and remember that. So we're gonna get in. We're gonna go inside in a few seconds. And if now we're going back. Those 60 meters are exposed outside, and that's why this is the wall part here. But the whole western wall is around 588 meters. Okay, so look how small is the part that people are praying now. It's a really small part of the western wall. Now we're inside, right? We're inside the western wall tunnels, and we can't see the western wall again, right? You can see that we have arches here, and if you're gonna look up, you can see a big arch. Can you see that arch? Okay, so we can see this is Jerusalem, how Jerusalem looked like 2,000 years ago, and this is the temple, right? And this is the western wall that we're gonna talk about the western wall now, and these are the 60 meters that are exposed outside, right? The people that are praying, they're praying and they're standing here, and now you can see that there are a few more layers of stone underneath them. They're not standing on the bottom of the western wall, right? And that's pretty amazing. That even when the Israeli government in 1967 was a reunification of Jerusalem, we made the plaza even deeper. It was even smaller. Okay, so we made it a little bit deeper and wider. Now, the main thing 2,000 years ago was the temple. Okay, the main thing was sacrifice. People didn't pray next to the wall. The wall, next to the wall, there was a street, there was a market. Okay, no one thought that it was holy. And now we can see how Jerusalem looks like today next to the western wall. Here, we have the plaza, right? Those, as I said, those 60 meters that are exposed outside. This is Davidson Center. It's an archaeologist site that we found there many evidences to the, as I said, that next to the western wall there was a street, there was a market. We found coins. We found all kinds of literature that show us that there was a market and a city. And here, this is the Muslims' quarter, right? It covers the western wall. And as I said before, now it's above our heads, right? People are staying in those houses that are above us. Now, if I'm gonna peel this part, right, this part of houses, we're gonna get to this little maze, which is what? Which is the western wall tunnels, right? We're walking in this little maze, and those houses are above our heads. Now, you can see this light here. This light symbolizes the exact point that you're sitting right now. Now, how do I know that? Because if you're going to look up, it's a bit hard to see because of this structure here, but the arches that are above our heads, they create a shape of a plus. Okay, it goes like this and like this. So if you're sitting here, right, you're sitting here, and you're looking towards this wall, right? And so what are those stones there? Part of the western wall. Exactly. So now we're not confused anymore. I mean, we saw where was the western wall from the inside, right, when we were standing there at the model, and now we're underneath the ground, but we can see the western wall. And when we're going to go down there, if we're going to stand like this, the people that are praying are going to be on our right-hand side. But not on the same height, but they're going to be on our side. And that's the beauty of that. Think about it. It's pretty amazing. We're going to see it where we're going to go down there. Now, if I'm going to peel another layer, we'll be able to see another little maze here. That it's underneath us. There are a few more layers. Okay, you can see that underneath us there's a mikveh, ritual bath that we found that someone built it many years ago, and we found another big room. They were not sure about how people used it. And the red lights show us the street and the market. We as a joke, we call it the Wall Street as a joke. So there was a market. No one saw no one felt that the Western Wall was something holy. We today, of course, we see it as something holy. People pray next to it. King Herod realized that was a vulnerable place in Jerusalem, so he wanted to make it a strong place, because he knew that when the first temple got destroyed, the enemies came from here, from the northern part of Jerusalem. So he built this fortress in order to guard the temple and to keep Jerusalem from not falling again. We can see here the Great Bridge that I was talking about before. It was an entrance to the Temple Mount. And here we can see another entrance. Now, Jerusalem, 2,000 years ago, think about it, people came from all over 3 times a year at the same time. King Herod today with us. Maybe on the way back you'll be able to see it. Only women can see that, because it's part of the women's section. Men can see it from the outside, but we can still see part of this arch. Okay, so that's the model. Can you see this huge stone here? So this stone, its length is 13 meters. Okay, 13 meters for one stone. Now, how much do you think it weighs? Just guess, really. Tons. Okay, how much? How many tons?
26.
96. More than that. I'm gonna tell you. We assume that one stone, this big stone, weighs 570 tons. Okay, one stone. And as you can see, we have a row here. Can you see that we have a few big stones here? So, and we know that in this part of the wall, the stones were brought here. Okay, we know that in this part they were brought, and we can see that in a different place on the western wall, they curved the western wall from the bedrock. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? And here we know that they carried them and they brought them and they put them here. Now the question is, of course, how do they bring it? Okay, how do they carry those massive stones here? So we have an answer for that. We know that they have frames and they had wheels. The people were running in the wheels, and that's how they, they use the energy. And they had oxes and they had all kinds of equipment. And when I tell it to Israelis, they say, you know what? Just tell us that it was a miracle. We don't care how they brought it. We know that it's here. It's amazing, and that's it. It's gonna be a miracle. So if you want it to be a miracle, just if you want. Now, so the question is, why? Okay, if why King Herod decided to bring those massive stones to here? So we assume that King Herod realized that in this part of the wall, there's the danger of earthquakes. So he knew that if he's going to bring those massive stones, he's going to make this wall stable. Okay, now if this wall is going to be stable, don't forget that this is an external wall, right? This is a retaining wall. Now, if this wall is going to be stable and strong, it's going to keep the temple that is just right behind it, right? The temple is used to be just behind that. So that's why we assume that's why they brought it. Now, when the Romans tried to destroy Jerusalem and they tried to destroy the wall, when they reached the point that they got to those massive stones, they just gave up. It was just too hard for them. Until today, we can see those breaking marks. Okay, when we're gonna walk, we'll be able to see the breaking marks. So don't forget that. Now, another thing that we can see here is this frame here, and they curved and they made this frame. We call it Herodian masonry after King Herod. Okay, so we can see it all along the western wall.
So hierdie ding twee kom ons hou.
Ek hoor die lig hang hierso. Hè? Wow.
The smell is so strong that the goats in Jericho sneezed. So strong. So we have two stories from that then. We're going into an aqueduct. So you'll feel the moisture next to the wall. You'll feel that you'll actually see that because of our water here. So you'll see it. And then we're going to continue walking till we're going to see a pool. As I told you, King Herod used the water in the water tunnel to create a pool. So we're going to see that also. Okay? We're still excavating here, as you can see. I'm telling you, I'm really proud to stand here every time and to tell about my history and about the legacy of my people here in this place. And I hope that maybe you enjoy the tour, and maybe you'll come back here, and maybe you'll see more interesting things. Maybe we'll find here, I don't know what, but maybe we'll find. I can tell you that we found a new tunnel. That is, people still can't go there, but we found a very long tunnel of 25 meters that is going to go underneath the ground to the Muslims' quarter. That here in the Muslims' quarter that we have an ancient synagogue. So through this way, through the tunnel, they're going to go. People were going to go to the old synagogue. So I think.
Dit is maandagmôre en ons is van die hotel af hier na die plek toe waar na die kerk toe wat bekend staan as die Hanekraai kerk. Ons sal nou daar na toe gaan. Daardie gedeelte wat daar tussen die mure is, staan bekend as Akeldama. Dit is waar Judas, nadat hy tot sy sinne gekom het, die geld gaan teruggooi het vir die priesters. Hier is ons by die Hanekraai kerk, waar Petrus vir Jesus 3 keer verloon het en die hane toe gekraai daar.
Elf. Judas is not there, and Jesus is saying, before the crow cries, you will deny me 3 times. Peter is saying, who? Me? Look at everybody's eyes. Yes? They're all looking accusingly at Peter, but they didn't stand up for Jesus either.
Ons is hier binne in die Hanekraai kerk. 'n lieflike plek met pragtige glasversiering en die hele koepel is vol mosaïek uitbeeldings. As 'n mens afklim met trappies van die Hanekraai kerk af, dan kom jy in hierdie gebied en dit is die pilare van Caiaphas se huis en die vermoede is dat Jesus se geeseling reeds hier begin het teen hierdie pilare. Volgens oorlewering is Jesus in hierdie grot aangehou die nag voordat hy die volgende dag verhoor sou word. Hierdie grot is net langs Caiaphas se huis. En daar is die opening waardeur hy heel waarskynlik hier ingelaat is.
En ek wil hier vir ons net 'n gebedjie saam doen, kom ons bid saam. Dierbare Here, klomp jare terug was jy hier alleen en het ook met die eie gedagtes geworstel om 'n pad te stap vir elkeen van ons, gehoorsaam te wees tot in 'n kruis, gehoorsaam te wees tot in die dood. En Here, dit is na die gebed daar in Getsemane dat jy ook die worsteling hier verder voortgesit het. So dat jy ook aan 'n kruis die woorde uitgespreek het, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. My God, waarom het U my verlaat? En Here, dankie dat ons kan sê dat ons nooit weer van God verlaat hoef te wees nie. Want U is ook vandag hier by ons en U vou ons toe in die liefde en U bewys aan ons U genade. Dankie Jesus dat U ook ons geleer het hoe om te bid. Onse Vader wat in die hemel is, laat U naam geheilig word. Laat U koninkryk kom. Laat U wil ook op die aarde geskied net soos in die hemel. Gee ons vandag ons daaglikse brood en vergeef ons ons oortredings, soos ons ook die vergewe wat teen ons oortree. En laat ons nie in die versoeking kom nie, maar verlos ons van die bose. Want aan U behoort die koninkryk en die krag en die heerlikheid tot in alle ewigheid. Amen.
En Hierdie is die oorspronklike trappies volgens oorlewering waar Jesus van Getsemane af opgeneem is na Caiaphas se huis toe. Hier is nog oorblyfsels daarvan aan die onderkant en daar aan die linkerkant en dan is die kerk van die Hanekraai daar bo opgebou. Daar kom die trappies op en hierdie is na die tyd gebou.
Hier is dit waar Petrus vir Christus verloon het. Hierdie Latyn beteken non novi illum eccenom me.
Langs die Davidstad word ernstige uitgrawings gedoen. Ons is hier in Bethlehem.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are sitting probably in one of the caves that were in use by the shepherds when the angel of God appeared to them, giving them the good news. As I mentioned in the bus, we don't know exactly where the shepherds were. We know that they were scattered all over the place in Boaz fields. Why? Because they probably used all the caves or the grottos in the area, because as I said, we are not far away from the desert. It's very hot during the day and it's very cold during the night, so they needed a shelter, okay? And as I mentioned, this piece of land was bought by the Franciscans in the year 1850 for 50 dinars of gold, and they probably knew exactly that there were some caves and there were some ruins dating back to different centuries that prove that the early Christians used this place as the place where the shepherds were. So to set the scene, because this is a different culture where we live in, that they probably were putting their animals inside and they would probably sit around the fire and talking. And as it is written in the Gospel of Luke, probably they were sitting around the fire and the sky was illuminating, and then they were very afraid. What's happening? You know, you can imagine the opposite. If you would sit in South Africa at home in the evening and suddenly there is a power cut and then everything is dark, and then you say, what's happening? You know? So, yeah, you're used to that, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is the opposite. They were sitting, it was dark around the fire, and the skies were illuminating, and the angel of God appeared to them, told them the good news that they have to go. Today is the Savior is born. They had to go to Bethlehem and to see it. So, what did the shepherds do? If any one of us would today have a vision, visit today is very important because you came half the world. My friend, he was telling me you came through Egypt and Sinai and everywhere to see the holy places. And this is the starting point. That's why I always like to start in the shepherd's fields where the message came, and then we go up. So this is an invitation today to all of us. If we hear God talking to us, if we hear the voice of God, don't be afraid, okay? The shepherds were afraid, okay? But they did
what the angel told them. And you, if you listen, if you hear the voice of God, don't be afraid. Follow the path of the shepherds, the path that brought them to Jesus will definitely bring you to the same result, bring you also to Jesus. The way of the path of the shepherds, the path of the shepherds that led them will lead you to salvation.
Ons is hier in die kerk by die grot waar die skaapwagters heel waarskynlik die boodskap gehoor het. Hier ontvang hulle die boodskap van die engele. Hulle is bang en bevrees, hulle weet nie wat gebeur nie. As ons hier na die regterkant toe kyk, dan sien ons die uitbeelding van die geboorte van Christus. En die derde skildery hier wys dat hulle die boodskap ontvang het en dat hulle juigend en bly huis toe gegaan het. Hier is 10 engele, 5 wat afkyk en 5 wat opkyk. Hier is die kerk aan die buitekant.
Hier is die kerk wat gebou is bo oor die geboorteplek van Christus in Bethlehem.
Die opening is verander van die boog na 'n klein openingkie van net oor 1 meter hoog by 900 wyd en dit word 'n humble opening genoem sodat jy juis moet buig om hier in te gaan.
We are inside the Church of the Nativity. As you can see, it is 48 meters long, 26.6 wide. It has 48 columns. The columns are standing 5.7 meters high, and then above the columns to the ceiling is 10 meters, and the ceiling is made of cedar wood from Lebanon. Okay? So, all what we're going to see, most of it, is from the renovation which was done in the time of the Crusaders. That the Christians in the 4th century were still holding on Jewish traditions and on the second commandment. Okay? It is going deeper, 60 to 80 centimeters deeper than the current floor today, and it has beautiful mosaics, and as you can see, 3 significant things let's say, differentiate this kind of mosaic than others. Like they wanted to do something beautiful, okay? So they used small stones and they used original colors. So they brought black stone, red stone, white stone from different areas and they cut them down. Look, I mean, it's unbelievable, yeah? How much time it took. So if you look up, we have on both sides 10 windows. And on this side, we used to have 11 angels. Nowadays, we just have 6 up. You see them? They are bending over, bending forward to the place where Jesus was born. Okay, you see them, the 6 angels. And we can see the inscriptions on the wall here and there. These are written in Latin and in Greek. These are the decisions taken in the national and international councils of the church. Okay, Council of Nick, Council of different councils, they wrote them here. And the big question is, why would the Crusaders in the 12th century write in Greek? And we know that the big division in the church between East and West happened in the year 1054. So 100 years later, the Crusaders tried to build the church and renovate it as a symbol of peace. So they used Latin, Greek, East and West, okay? And this is also a proof that the Christians on the ground were not divided, were one church. Okay, probably this division was administrative or political. But
Dit is vreeslik baie ligte hier bo kan die geboorteplek met 'n kruis daar aan die agterkant. Daar aan die voorkant is die plek waar Jesus gebore is. Ons gaan nou so ombeweeg deur 'n opening om dit te kan sien. Ons gaan nou af 2-2 om by die ster verby te gaan waar Jesus gebore is.
Here, baie dankie vir 'n oomblik soos hierdie dat ons hier kan staan waar U mens geword het hier op aarde vir ons elkeen. Here, vir 33 jaar het U mens gewees, het U met 'n kruis op die skouers geloop vir ons elkeen en daarop Golgotha vir ons elkeen 'n prys te betaal, die prys van die lewe. Dankie dat U totaal en al met ons lewe geassosieer het, dat U bereid was Jesus om 'n ou babietjie te word, gebore, toegedraai in doeke vir ons elkeen, om kind te wees, tiener te wees, en dan mens te word en mens te wees tussen ons. Here, dit is aangrypend om te weet waar ons staan, het U op die hele aardbol besluit, is hier waar ek my verskyning gaan maak, is hier waar U Uself aan ons gaan openbaar in die Seun Jesus Christus. En Here, dalk is die oomblik vir ons heeltemal te groot om dit te begryp, te verstaan, maar dankie dat ons kan weet, U raak ons lewens aan. Soos Ibrahim gesê het, vir ons Here op die roepstem antwoord, ons wil die stem hoor, en ons wil nie bang wees om te kom na U toe en te sê, dankie Here, dankie dat U by ons is, en dankie dat ons voor U kan kniel en kan buig en sê, dankie, dankie, dankie Here. Dankie Here dat ons mag meer as oorwinnaars wees saam met Jesus, wat vir ons alles oorwin het. Dankie Jesus dat U ons so lief het, dat U niks ontsien het, om vir ons daardie prys te betaal. Ons loof en prys U opnuut in hierdie dag op hierdie plek, in die naam van Jesus, ons Here, ons Verlosser. Amen.
Hierdie is die ingang na die St. Catherine's Church toe, waar ons nou was. Hierdie is 'n standbeeld van die persoon wat die Bybel vertaal het uit Grieks uit na Latyn toe en daarvan was dit toe makliker om dit in ander tale te doen.
You can see the stuff over there, that's like a guardhouse. There would have been doors over here and anybody who came in tried to...
Dit is dinsdagmôre en ons stap die deel van die Via Dolorosa. Hierdie is die wat genoem word die Stefanushek. Dis in hierdie omgewing waar Stefanus gestenig is.
We are at St. Anne's or Beit Bethesda, the house of mercy. Why is it called St. Anne's? St. Anne in Hebrew is Hannah. Hannah is the mother of Mary. And many people with no Hebrew would come over here because there was a belief that when the water bubbled up and went cloudy, they said an angel stirred the water. Jesus comes in one day and starts talking to a man by himself. And asked him how long he'd been coming now. He said 38 years. The problem from the Jewish point of view was that it's Sabbath, and one of the 37 things that are defined as work, and you're not allowed to do it on the Sabbath, is to pick up a bed. So there's a lot of criticism of Jesus for the full miracle that occurs over here.
Hierdie is 'n ou kruisvaarderkerk wat hier staan, 'n Crusaderkerk langs die pad van Bethesda. Binne is dit blykbaar eenvoudig. Ons was nog nie in nie, ons gaan nou daarin, maar wat wonderlik is die ego van die kerk binne. Gewoonlik sien ons vir Maria met Jesus in haar arms. Hier sien ons Maria se ma met Maria by haar.
O Heer my God, as ek in eerbied wonder en al die werke elke dag aanskou. Die son en maan, die aarde sterre wolke, hoe dit elke dag so
get you to the garden too. The place of reflection and quiet time today is when you have communion at the garden too. I am walking. I'm not waiting for anybody. Picture takers, if you look up and you see I'm not there, ask your way to the Damascus Gate. When you get to the Damascus Gate, ask where the garden too is. At 9:30 you will be there. There's a tour and then communion. This is the church built by Barlucci, and you can see in the arch over here we have the crown of thorns, because this is where we remember when Jesus was flagellated or tortured. I was asked a very important question. Is this the place where Jesus was flagellated? We don't No. Remember, some 100 years after Jesus was crucified, we had the last attempt to throw off Roman rule, and Hadrian flattens the city. And over here, we have Pontius Pilate washing his hands of responsibility, but in fact, he does send Jesus to his death by crucifixion. Over here on the right-hand side, another mosaic of Barabbas, his cry when he is set free, and Jesus is crucified instead. And over there, Jesus is tied up and flagellated. Over here, that was the fourth station, across to the right, Sorry Mary looks at her son. And these stones that you see over here, remember that was that they did the torture. I'll give you a few minutes and I'll start walking.
Scarf.
Deze gedeelte van die Via Dolorosa, maar het is hier maar een gewone handelsdag.
Terwyl ons hier op die Via Dolorosa is, het ons die teespoed hier. Hier is polisie dringend ontbied en hier buite is iets aan die gang. Hier nie wat.
Mooi view het hier verboor.
Under the dome of the rock is the rock of Mount Moriah. One part of it is we would imagine the dome of the Holy of Holies is under that rock. Although some people say that the altar was there. The altar was outside of the rock. So we don't know, nothing was there. And we were walking under all these buildings. Yes, under all these buildings.
The other thing not related to Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, that's flat. But
weet julle, dis hy houtkruis wat ek afgeneem het. Hy daar gestaan.
Ja, maar die ding is nie, maar dis nie iemand van... Is dit nou iemand wat van buite af gekom? Of wat van die binne af uitgegaan het? So dis nou die ding. Hulle moet nou eers kyk waar as die accomplice is en wat ook al. Hulle het las van goed.
Ek doen dit hier by Skull Hill.
Jesus is in hierdie omgewing gekruisig en heel waarskynlik teen hierdie rotse was 'n opening gewees in die grafte waar hy neergelê is. Niemand weet presies waar dit is nie, maar hierdie word die tuin van Arimatea genoem.
this morning, that's right. I gather you all come from South Africa. I had 2 lovely holidays there about 10 or 12 years ago. It's a glorious country, you've got some wonderful weather, and the people are delightful. You even play better cricket than we do in England, but there you are. But it's lovely to welcome you here. This could be the garden of Joseph of Arimathea. And so here we are, this could be the place where Jesus died. We cannot be sure exactly where in Jerusalem this took place. Yes, there are counter-attractive places, but to me the important thing is not so much to think about the place where Christ died, but the person of our Saviour himself. You see, it can't be far from here. We know that Jesus died outside the city walls, and John's Gospel says that Jesus died close to the city, and so here we are. And this area here was known as a place of public execution. It was also a quarry in bygone times. All around here there's been a rock which has been cut away and is being used for the infilling of the temple, which is about 250-300 meters away in that direction. And so a reason why I think this could be the place where Jesus died is purely what the scripture says. And if you look at the Bible carefully, every word I think counts. You see, where Jesus was taken to be crucified was called the place of a skull. The place, that's a definite word, a skull, one. And so on the picture here, you've got here sunken eyes, the bridge of a nose. And I just wonder if this, on the cliff over there, which you can see, and you can take pictures later, if this might be the place where Jesus himself was taken to be crucified for you and for me. Not on the top of a hill, that's the poetic language of the various songs which we well know so well. There's a green hill far away. I think he died at street level. Reason for that is that those who were passing by shouted their abuse at him, and you can do so more easily from about 6 feet rather than the height of that cliff there. And so Jerusalem then, as today, is at the crossroads. People came from east, south, north and west with their trades and their business, and they stayed overnight here in Jerusalem before making their way on to the coast of Joppa, modern day Tel Aviv, and they would then take their spices and fruits and perfumes and exchange them for the things which they wanted to bring back to Arabia. So it's the same day, people go about their business here. Even here you see we've got this bus station that's coming and going all the time. And so maybe in a public place like this, 2,000 years ago, our Lord may have died for you and for me. And we'll be going into the tomb very shortly. It's a narrow entrance into the tomb. You actually have to slightly stoop to get goes in individually, one by one. And I find this a wonderful visual aid that when we come to Lord Jesus, we do so personally. 3 reasons then why this might be the tomb of Joseph. Firstly, it's a tomb of a rich man. When you go inside, you'll see how large it is. It's about 4 meters in one direction and 5 or 6 crossways. Only a rich man would have a tomb of this size. Remember also that the prophet Isaiah in chapter 53, 650 years beforehand, said that Jesus would make his death with the wicked and with the rich in his death. And so this was the fulfillment of Old Testament prophecy. But to me another compelling thing, and this is where the Bible is so precise in every word it says, we read in Mark's account that when the women came in the direction towards me and looking across there, they say they saw that the angel was on the right hand side where the body of Jesus would have been, and the burial chamber here is on the right hand side. On the left hand side you go in is the weeping chamber, but on the right hand side is where the loculi are, where the body would have rested. Inside the tomb you'll see the sign of a cross. On the cross, on the bottom left and bottom right corners, you've got 2 Greek letters, the first and the last letters of the Greek alphabet, Alpha and Omega. Jesus Christ, we read in Revelation, said, I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I am he who liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive for evermore. Come into the tomb, satisfy yourself that is empty.
Jesus, die Koning die naam van Jesus. Kom ons op, kom ons aanbid die Here ons God. Laat His name, heiligheid, heerlijkheid. Hy het besef, ons elke werk, hy het doorleef.
Ons wil ons vanoggend graag hierdie gedeelte lees uit Johannes 20. Die eerste 10 versies, die leë graf. Die Sondagmôre vroeg, toe dit nog donker was, kom Maria Magdalena by die graf en sien dat die klip van die graf af weggerol is. Sy hardloop toe en gaan na Simon Petrus en na die ander disippels vir wie Jesus baie lief was en sê vir hulle: "Hulle het die Here uit die graf weggevat en ons weet nie waar hulle hom nou begrawe het nie." Petrus en die ander disippels het toe uitgekom en na die graf toe gegaan. En die twee het saam begin hardloop. Maar die ander disipel het vinniger as Petrus gehardloop en eerste by die graf gekom. Toe hy vooroor buk, sien hy die doeke lê, maar hy het nie ingegaan nie. Na hom het Simon Petrus ook daar aangekom en in die graf ingegaan. En hy sien toe die doeke daar lê, ook die doek wat om Jesus se kop was. Die doek het nie net by die ander doeke gelê nie, maar was eenkant afsonderlik opgerol. Daarna het die ander disipel wat eerste by die graf gekom het, ook ingegaan en hy het dit ook gesien en geglo. Ons sien nou weer ou Petrus voor op die wa, die ander disipel wag so ewe buitekant. En Petrus in sy vrypostigheid is in die graf en hy wil gaan kyk en hy wil met sy eie oë wil hy dit sien. En was ons nie ook maar vanoggend so nie? Ons weet die Here Jesus het opgestaan uit die dood. En ons het ingeloer by daai graf. En ons het uitgekom. En wat het julle gesien? Niks. Die wonder van vanoggend is dat ons het niks gesien. En ons het 'n klomp momente gehad op hierdie toer waar ons somber was. Op 'n Golgotha, 'n somber oomblik. Ons het die Via Dolorosa gestap, ons was somber. Ons het 'n gevoel van hartseerheid gehad. In Getsemane is ons oorweldig. Maar die wonder is dat ons vanoggend hier kan afsluit en dat ons daai getuienis het van 'n leë graf. En daarom hoef ons nie vanoggend somber te wees, maar gevul wees met 'n absolute gevoel van blydskap, omdat ons weet ons Here se graf is leeg. Ons kon julle op 'n wêreldtoer gevat het en ons kon al die wêreldgodsdienste gaan waar hulle almal die stigterslede van elke wêreldgodsdienst kon ons so toer meegemaak. En by elke stigterslid van elke afsonderlike godsdienst sou ons kon gekom het en gesê, hier lê so en so. En daar is sy grafsteen, hy is daai dag gebore en hy is daai dag dood. Ons kan dit nie vandag doen. Ons kan nie sê, Jesus is daai dag gebore en hy is daai dag dood. Sy graf is leeg. En dit is die enigste heerser, enigste God, wat ons weet en ons ken, wat nie iewers begrawe lê. En daarom kan ons maar net vanoggend die Here loof en prys, is dat ons het die voorreg, dit is 'n voorreg, dit is genade, dat ons die lewende God van hemel en aarde aanbid. Dit is so groot geskenk. Miskien het ons nog nooit hierdie gedeelte raak gelees wat hier so staan, toe die disipel die doeke sien wat net daar lê. En interessant is dat daar staan ook die doek wat om Jesus se kop was. Die doek wat nie by die ander doeke gelê het nie, maar wat eenkant afsonderlik opgerol was. Nou weet julle, daar lê 'n ongelooflike simboliek in daardie woord. Die gebruik van die Jode was dat wanneer 'n heer aangesit het aan 'n tafel, dan het sy diensknegte hom bedien. En wanneer hy nog besig was om te eet en hy wou miskien 'n draaitjie geloop het, dan het hy sy servet mooi netjies opgerol, opgevou en op die tafel geplaas. En so die diensknegt geweet, hy Sy meester is nog nie klaar nie. Hy kom terug. As die meester of die heer klaar was met die ete, dan het hy die servet sommer, julle weet mos hoe maak ons met 'n servet, ek gooi hom so op die tafel. En dit was die teken vir die dienskneg dat die meester klaar is. Hy gaan nie meer terug. Wat lees ons? Ons lees Jesus se kopdoek is netjies opgerol. Wat sê dit? Hy's nog nie klaar nie. Hy kom terug. En daai wonderlike voorreg wat ons vandag weet. Ons meester is nie klaar met ons nie, hy is al die tyd nog besig met ons. En ons het hierdie wonderlike verwagting dat die Here Jesus weer sal terugkom. En daarom vandag, miskien met 'n ander gesindheid waarmee ons vanoggend die nagmaal gebruik. Hoop ek dat behalwe hierdie eerbied en sag wat ons vir God het en dit wat Jesus aan die kruis vir ons gedoen het, die prys wat hy vir ons betaal het, sal ons nooit ooit in regtig kan begryp. Maar dat ons vandag miskien die klem so bietjie verskuif in die gevoel wat ons beleef vanoggend. As ons die brood eet en van die beker neem en dit met 'n gevoel van vandag van oorwinning, van blydskap. Want ons het nou net gesien, die graf is leeg. Die meester is op pad terug. Mag ons met daai wonderlike gevoel vandag hierdie nagmaal gebruik. Ek gaan nou probeer, ek wonder of ek tussen julle gaan weer kan beweeg. Gaan probeer, ons kyk of ons dit gaan regkry. Hierdie brood wat ons vandag breek is net 'n simboliek. Maar tog lê daar iets in hierdie brood breek. As ons dink daaraan dat die Here se liggaam is vir elkeen van ons gebreek, sodat ons vandag onsself nie as vreemdelinge hoef te beskou wat die Here Jesus nie ken nie, maar dat elkeen van ons vanoggend onsself kind van God kan nie. Wat 'n voorreg. Ek gaan julle elkeen dan bedien waar julle sit. Die beker waarna ons nou gaan deel, as ons daaraan deel, dan drink ons aan die bloed van die Here Jesus wat vir ons geslot is.
O Heer my God, as ek in hierdie wonde en al die berge elke dag gaan skoon, die son en maan, die aarde sterre wolke, gloei dit elke dag so onderhou. Dan moet ek juig my Redder en my God, hoe groot is U, hoe groot is U, want deur die hele skepping klink dit saam. O Heer, U grote naam.
Ek wil saam bid en dan gaan ek nie amen sê nie. Ek wil graag, as daar iemand is wat dalk wil aansluit by die gebed, geleentheid gee terwyl ons net so bly sit om dalk net 'n reeltjie of twee te bid. En dan as ek later hoor daar's 'n bietjie stilte, dan sal ek vir ons afsluit. Here, U is so goed vir ons. Ons dankie vir hierdie oomblik dat ons kon deel in hierdie oorwinning saam met U. Dankie Here dat ons hier in Jerusalem kon afsluit op 'n hoogtepunt. Dat ons U pad kon volg van lyding. Maar Here, dat ons bovenal U weg verder kan volg van oorwinning. En dat ons verder in ons harte sal dra dat Jesus leef. En dat die vrede wat U vir ons deur die engele aangekondig het met U geboorte, toe U engele gesê het vrede op aarde en die mense welbehaag, en toe U dit as die grootste erfporsie ook vir ons nagelaat het, U vrede, dat Here U vrede altyd oor ons gedagtes en harte die wag sal hou in Christus Jesus.
Juig al wat leef, juig voor die Heer. dien hom met blydskap, gee hom eer. U het ons vir ewig verlos, o Heer. U het die graf, die dood oorwin. Nou is U vir ewig saam met ons, hier waar ons ook vandag is 'n groepie, klein groepie uit Suid-Afrika, dat ons die boodskap terugneem. U het oorwin.
Here, ons bely saam aan U kom toe die lof en die eer en die heerlikheid. Vir nou, vir altyd en tot in ewigheid. Amen.
Ons uit Jerusalem uit weg is, op pad na Jordanië toe, het dit baie verander. En ons is nou hier op die grenspos by Allenby Bridge, waar ons deur gaan na Jordanië toe. Hier gaan ons oor die brug.
Ons het so pas oor die Jordaanrivier gery, jy het seker gesien, né? Hy het nie geweldig baie water nog, hy vloei nie, want hy is mos maar afgekamp al van Galilee af vir die besproeiingsstelsel. Hier vanaf vloei in die dooie see wat ons by was so 'n tydjie gelede. Dis nog in niemandsland, so ons is nou eintlik in die Jordaniese gedeelte. As jy by die checkpunt verbygaan, dan
hier in die Jordaanvallei is dit redelik groen met bome en groente. Hier is dit nog die olyfbome. Wat is dit? Dor en 'n droë land. Ons is hier bo op Berg Nebo en dis nogal ver af hier na onder toe. Dit is baie duinserig, so ou kan nie vreeslik ver sien nie.
Between Jerusalem and this place, Muzelda here, everything very sacred, you know that. And it's very near to the heaven here. Very near to the heaven.
Goed dat met opgravings hier by is.
I will explain to you now. This is the map of the ancient world, which is a copy of the original one that exists in St. George Church in Madaba. This map, originally it was 24 meters by 6 meters, and the earthquake that destroyed the city of Madaba several times destroyed as well 2/3 of the map as the original one. But this is the 1/3 that we still have, which is fortunately show our region of the ancient world. What we can see on this map, now we can see the Dead Sea here, and as it's not a geographical map, some sides were shown bigger than what it should be on this map. And we have here the Jordan River, and the map also tells stories. As this is the Dead Sea, no life in this sea. See this fish? The moment the fish arrived to the salty water of the Dead Sea, she did swim back directly to the sweet water of the Jordan River, as there is no life in the Dead Sea. Here you have the west bank of the Jordan River, which is ancient Palestine, Holy Land, according to the map, where you can see the city of Jericho, and the name is mentioned in Greek, Jericho, or the palm city by the palm trees. We can tell that this is Jericho, as Jericho is known as the Palm City. Next to Jericho, on the top of the mountains, we have the city of Jerusalem, and see how big they showed Jerusalem is to show the importance of the city. This is part of the walls of the city, the main street, the Cardo Maximus, the Roman street in the city, the Holy Church of Saplica, where we have the tomb of Jesus Christ, the main gate of Jerusalem. Next to Jerusalem on this side, we have Bethlehem and the Nativity Church. We have Soho, which is Bet Sahur nowadays. we have the kingdom of Judah. Up there we have one of the 12 tribes of the Israelites, Dan. Klirios, Dan tribe. Up there we have the Mediterranean, part of the Mediterranean, one sea on the Mediterranean, one city and seaport on the Mediterranean, Ashdod, or as we call it in Arabic, Asdod. This side is the Jordanian side. Here we have the south of Jordan, which is the Edomite land, and Petra exists over here. This is Al-Hassa Valley, or the biblical name Zared. This is the Arnon as a biblical name, or Al-Mujib Valley in Arabic. And between the two we have the Moabite kingdom, one of the old kingdoms of the Bible, of the Old Testament of the Bible. The mountains of Moab, Kir Moab, the capital city of Moab, Kir Moab, which means the wall of Moab. Here we have the hot springs of Kaliroi by the Dead Sea, where King Herod used to come down to the Dead Sea area to have special treatment with the mineral water. Here we can see the baptismal site of Jesus Christ, and according to this map and to other 3 proofs, we proved 100% that the baptismal site exists in Jordan, in the country, the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan. Here you can see part of Egypt. This is the Nile, and those are the 2 main providers of the Nile. The delta of the Nile, where it's the best land of agriculture in Egypt. Another part of the Mediterranean, Pur Said, the Egyptian city. Here you can see one of the tribes, the 12 tribes, Shimon, according to the map, or Simon as pronounced it in English. Here you can see Gaza Strip. It's a very famous site now. Here you can see the desert of Sinai, Mount Sinai or Mount Moses, where Moses got the 10 commandments on the way to the promised land. To finalize the explanation, what the map was made for. One theorist said it's to show the route that Moses used from Egypt toward the promised land. It's not true. The theory is not true for one reason. On the map we have parts of Syria and Lebanon, which is not mentioned here. On the original one, yes. And Moses never been to Syria, neither to Lebanon. The second thing, it is not a geographical map, so you cannot follow a right or a correct geographical line on this map. But the most important theory about it, it was made to show the holy Christian places as well as the 12 tribes of the Israelites. But to show the route that Moses did, he left Egypt through the desert of Sinai, he entered Jordan, what we call Jordan now, through the south, through the Edomite land, he arrived to the Al-Hassa Valley, he went around the Moabites until he reached the area of Mount Nebo, which is supposed to be here, where Moses died, and so saw the promised land as it says in the Bible. You will see it, but you will never ever go there, as Moses misbehaved on the way. He misbehaved and he was punished. You will see the promised land, but you will never ever go there. So Moses died here, then Joshua continued through the Jordan Rift Valley, crossed the Jordan River, and they entered the oldest city of Jericho. Then the 12 tribes spread all over there. Thank you for your And downstairs we have a lot of beautiful work, what we call it wood mosaic with mother of pearl. Okay? Thank you for your attention.
Ons het gisterand seker omtrent 10:00 eers hier by Petra aangekom. Ons is hier in Petra, dis maar 'n armoedige land in baie opsigte. Want as jy hier om jou kyk, dan sien jy hoe die huise lyk. En hier is daarom so 'n ligstraaltjie met die hotel hier waar ons geslaap het. Ons is besig om te pak en ons gaan nou na die stad, die ou stad Petra kyk. En dan gaan ons na Amman toe, waarvan dan ons gaan vlieg na Kairo toe en dan van Kairo af vandag huis toe. Ons is hier by die beginpunt van die stap na die antieke dorp toe. Hier is 'n klomp snuisterye en koeldrank en sulke stalletjies hier in die omgewing. Hier is genoeg perde sodat die wat wil perd ry, met perde kan ry, en daar's ook perdekarretjies, maar teen 'n prys.
We staan nou aan die binnekant by die roostad in stad Petra in Jordanië. Veral bekend het histories ook vind van die Nabateërs, maar vir ons as Christene, wat belang is die gedeelte in die Ou Testament toe Moses mos op die koningsweg omgetrek het en by die lande gestop het en gevra het of hulle kan ingaan. Die koningsweg kan nou met water en kos vir die koning.
Okay.
So Moses het gevra by die koning van die Moabiete of hulle kan die koningsweg deur Petra gaan. En toe sê die koning nee, toe moes hulle om Petra trek tot daar, dis kan die berg Nebo waar Moses gesterf het. En die ander plek van belang vir ons hier is die graf van 'n Aaron wat in Petra voorkom. As mens daar aan die binnekant van Petra staan, mens kyk so op teen die berge, kan mense op die punt sien daar so 'n klein ortodokse kapelletjie of 'n graf, 'n tombstone, een daarvan is dood aan Aaron, Moses se broer. En dan wat van belang is wat die profete geprofeteer het in die Ou Testament in die laaste dae as die anti-kris gaan opstaan, gaan die volk Israel gaan hulle vlug na die stad in die berge toe. Dit is die stad Petra.
Hey, the group south. The group south. Look at the camera, please, here. Look at the camera here. Let's go.
When the Bedouins were here in Petra living, they used to hear the wind.
Hierdie was heel waarskynlik 'n wateropgaartank wat hulle so versier het. En dan hierdie was grafte wat hulle in die grotte ingekerf het en met allerlei versierings wat hulle aan die bokant ingesit het. Daar is 'n onvoltooide een en hier na die linkerkant toe is pragtige voorbeelde van sneeuwerk wat hulle gedoen het uit die klip, soos daai 4 torings en hierdie onderste ene wat hier so versier is.
Sea means gorge or canyon or narrow passage. This is the only way into Petra and the only way out.
Hier is die ingang na die kraak wat hier gevorm is en met die tyd weggespoel het en hier is nog die oorblyfsels van 'n boog wat hier oor was. So hier was heel waarskynlik houthekke voor gewees om die ingang en die uitgang te blok. En hier is kanale uitgekap en met keramiek teëls of pype is die water afgevat na Petra.
So when there is a niche, you find items. So they use them as religious stations. This is not the only niche we have. We are going to see more niches with different colors. And that's why we call Petra the Rose Red City. And the colors change every hour because of the light. Okay? So the colors change because of the light. Now, all these are sediments. So the rocks in Petra are sedimentary rocks.
Hier was beelde uitgekerf. Hier is die kameel se agterpote en 'n man wat by hom geloop het net die voete het oorgebly en die kameel se voorpote. En hier was ook 'n kameel, daar was sy maaggedeelte, die res is weg, kopgedeelte is nog effens besigbaar. Daar is die voorvoete en 'n man wat voor hom loop. Net die voete het oorgebly. Hier is die oorblyfsels van die kleipipe wat hulle gebruik het, die keramiekpype nog baie duidelik sigbaar. Hierdie gedeelte was vir water gebruik, drinkwater, en aan die oorkant was dit vir water vir algemene gebruik. Ons is nou naby die uitgang en daar aan die oorkant kan dit die begin van die tempel gesien word. Dis indrukwekkend.
Decorated their tombs, and the way they decorated their tombs they took spies from the other civilizations.
Ons is hier by daai pilare en kyk net hoe klein lyk Marita en Ena hier teen hierdie pilare. En daar aan die agterkant is nog 'n ingang. Ons gaan nou daarna kyk. Hier is die twee kantingange. Hier aan die binnekant is net 'n opening. Dis tot waar ons mag gaan. Dit is so 'n groot opening wat hier in die rots uitgekap is. Seker maklik 12 by 12 meter met 3 ingange. En al die ingange was ook bo versier gewees. En ons mag daar nie ingaan nie, maar dit is graftes. Oral hier was nog gedeeltes wat uitgekap was uit die rots uit, wat redelik verweer is al.
لا اليوم بجيبها لك المغربيات. اوكي توكل على الله. حياك الله يا سيدي. يا اخوي انت تعطيهم سعر كويس وانا بخليهم يضلوا معك. ما بتعطيهم سعر كويس انا بديهم بالسياره. ما في مشكله.
Hier was 'n volledige amfitheater uit die rots uitgekap.
يلا اعطيهم لا بس يلا
عبالك بالسكر بكيا تسوي من الهواء
Jordanian. Forse al Jordanian.
Ons bus het so 'n bietjie 'n probleempie opgetel. Hulle kan nou nie in die gang kry nie. En ons wag nou omtrent al 'n uur. En hier het nou gelukkig 'n man opgedaag wat hoop ons hoop hy gaan vir ons iets regkry.
Boarding number 10.